Good morning. It has been quite an eventful morning already. We have been up, done chores, taken the farmer, and now we are back. Mr. Grant is getting started on his schoolwork. I'm going to milk Mama J. And then we've got some housework to do. I've got some soap to make today. I have to plan my January menu. I can't believe that it's January 4th and I haven't done that yet, but been a little busy. Today we have a very exciting delivery coming and I cannot wait. So let me show you the prep work that we've done for it. So this space is next to Grant's treehouse. His grandfather is going to be here today to help him get that finished. And this area right here is behind the big garden. Oh, there's Boris and Rosie over there, tromping through the woods. They are so happy. Anyways, we've cleared a pad, leveled it out as much as we can. There's some pretty neat trees that have grown kind of crookedy back there, but we have something very fun that's gonna go right here behind the big garden. It's been a long time coming since we have been dreaming of what this delivery is that's coming today, and I cannot wait to show you guys. It wasn't supposed to be here for 2 more weeks, but according to the delivery schedule, it's out for delivery already. So Jeff also worked really hard on pulling up these extra fences that we have. We are going to get the chickens in this little chickshaw, and then we've got some electric fence netting to put them in. He spent a lot of time pulling out tree stumps this weekend with the bulldozer and just kind of getting ready. In Texas, it's about time to start on the gardens. I know that's crazy. Where a lot of you live, it is probably freezing cold and covered in snow and whatever, but not in Texas. It's gonna be 70 degrees today and it's beautiful outside. So we have got some work to do. We're gonna get the goats moved. I gotta go milk Jewel, and then we shall get on with our day. All right, last chore for the morning, Jolene. Gotta go feed our sweet Jojo. Are you excited? Are you hungry? Come on, silly. This girl, she gets so excited about her food. Hi, Jolene. Here we go. Whoop, silly girl. It's okay. It's okay. Good girl. Good girl. Yeah. Working on a little trust. There you go. Good job. You, ma'am, are rotten. Yeah. Mr. Grant didn't shut the gate tight enough apparently last night and the goats got out. Miss Ladybug's still roaming. She's in a fence, so it's not a big deal, but she's kind of a pain. So this area is where we've had hay. Jewel's old hay bale was in here, and Jolene has been in here. And you can see all the green starting to come up. We're actually growing some grass in here, you guys. It's wonderful. All right, guess what's on? Getting ready to get all loaded up. All right, time to gather up all my milk stuff, go upstairs, get it filtered, get started on our chores for the day, and hopefully get to some soap. Right. It's Monday, cream separating day. We have a decent amount of milk to get through and turn into butter. All right, today is a super fun day because I get to load up my incubator again. Right now I have 105 barnyard mix eggs that I'm gonna put in here. And we're about to go pick up 4 dozen more from another friend of ours to load our incubator with. Now, why are we doing this? Well, we lost a fair amount of birds this year to predators, and so I need to rebuild my flock a little bit. So that's what we're doing. Really good mix of colors in here. There's blue, dark brown, light brown, green, white. There's some little bantam eggs in here. There's some guinea eggs in here. Like this is a guinea egg. So, we'll see in 21 days what we get. All right. So while I was putting eggs in the incubator, the butter churn's running, and Grant was vacuuming the living room. So I'm gonna go check on progress and go get more eggs. We are on our way to a friend of ours, Miss Shayna's house. We are going to trade some butter, some raw milk butter, for some eggs to put in our incubator. While we went to pick up our other set of hatching eggs to put in the incubator, we got an awesome delivery. Dun 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 dun. Our greenhouse is here. Now we got to assemble it and put it up. Some days call for a second cup of coffee. Today is one of those days. My dad is here. He is working on Grant's treehouse with him. That was one of Grant's Christmas presents. He and my dad have been building a treehouse for a couple of weeks, and so my dad came out here to help him get it finished. So while they are outside doing that, I am inside cleaning bathrooms.
That's what we found.
How's it going?
We found 2 10-foot 2x4s.
Nice.
In the dirt.
In the dirt.
Thank goodness it's just a tree house, right?
You have to scab something on.
Cool. You got a roof piece screwed in?
Nope.
Oh.
Gotta fix the framing first.
Gotcha. Yeah, he took those trees down.
Yeah, he broke it.
Yeah, he didn't mean to.
Oh, I think he did.
Well, maybe. It is highly entertaining to listen to my father say the exact same things to my son that he said to me when I was a little girl. There was a very common phrase in my house growing up, 40-11, meaning that my dad was 40 when I was 11, which meant he might have had a little more life experience than I had, right? Well, now he's using 58-12 on my son, and it's so funny. Grant's arguing with him about turning a ladder a certain way and doing this and doing that, and Dad's just like, do you trust me? And it just sounds exactly like the conversations I had with my daddy when I was a little girl. So it's very funny. That apple sure didn't fall very far, let me tell you. All right, next round of butter's going. Time to wash the first set of butter, get it salted, and in the freezer. All right, so I'm going to wash this butter. Washing butter simply means that you are getting all the rest of the buttermilk out. And the easiest way that I have found to do that is to fill a bowl with some cold ice water and simply knead your butter as you would a ball of dough. So, I've got some cold well water here. Then I'm gonna get some ice, add a little bit more water to it so it gets nice and cold very, very quickly. Okay. And then I am simply going to take all of this butter and I'm going to set it in this really cold water. Butter's a messy process. You're gonna need lots of hand towels. I'll just let you know that. So if you notice, immediately my water turned super cloudy. That is buttermilk that makes your water cloudy. So all I'm gonna do, and don't worry if you get little tiny pieces of ice stuck in between your butter, it'll come out as you need it. It's not a big deal. Well, I'm literally just going to turn this over and over and over and squish it like I would a ball of dough to encourage all the buttermilk to come out. So, how do I know when it's done? It usually takes 2 or 3 rinses to get it all out. And so when I've done this for a couple of minutes and my water's super cloudy, I'm gonna pour this water out. I'm gonna fill my bowl again with some cold ice water and I'm gonna repeat the process. That one will still probably be cloudy as well. And then I will dump it and do it a 3rd time. Typically by the 3rd time, when you're kneading your butter like this and smushing it around, your water will not turn cloudy. It will stay nice and clear, which means that you have successfully gotten all of the buttermilk out of your butter. Now, why is that important? Raw butter does not have any preservatives in it. The only thing I'm going to add to this is a little bit of sea salt. Therefore, it can go bad much faster than what you would buy at a grocery store. Washing the butter gets all the buttermilk out, and the buttermilk is actually what spoils in your butter and will turn it rancid before you can eat it. If you do not get all the buttermilk out and you leave your butter as is straight out of the butter churn, it will be rancid within 24 to 48 hours. So I wash and rinse my butter. I don't put soap in it or anything. This is called washing it. Rinse it out, dry it, salt it, and get in my butter molds in the freezer. So that's what I'm going to spend the next few minutes doing while the next batch churns up. The water this round is much colder than last. I'm not sure why our well does that, but sometimes it does. So, I don't need to add any ice to this batch. So if you notice, it's getting cloudy again, but it's not nearly as cloudy as quickly as it was the very first time I put the butter in here. And this is a large amount of butter. This butter churn holds just over a gallon of cream, and it averages out to 1.5 pounds to 1.75 pounds of butter out of that. So it makes a pretty large batch, which is wonderful for us because we live in the South and we cook with a ton of butter. And if you've never had raw butter, you have no idea what you're missing. It is so good. You'd be very hard pressed to go back to store-bought butter after having some raw homemade butter. It is incredible. All right, cloudy water round 2. So if you notice, it's not taking me very long to knead this out at all. It just takes a couple of minutes to get it all nice and clear. This probably will be the last round that I have to do this. I'm hoping. The butter doesn't really melt onto your skin. Kind of, I mean it can, But so long as your water is nice and cold, you won't have any issues. All right. Oh, that water's freezing. Which is funny because we do not live up in the mountains. We don't live anywhere that there would be melted snow or anything to make our well water so cold. But man, oh man, it is very cold water. Well, that one turned pretty darn cloudy too, so it looks like a fourth rinse is in order. It's really important to take your time and to be patient here. This is not something that you want to just halfway do or do it good enough. You really want to get all the buttermilk out so that you don't waste all your hard work and all the time that you spent making the butter on throwing it away or feeding it to your pigs because it went rancid. Holy macaroni, that water is so cold. All right, let's try it again. One time when I was doing this, I accidentally filled my bowl with hot water instead of cold water. That stunk. My butter got super melty super quickly. All right. Let's see what we get this time. Okay. Oh my gosh, that water is so cold. All right, so if you see this round, that water is staying pretty nice and clear. All right, we've gotten out all the buttermilk. So I'm going to grab a clean tea towel. And I'm going to take my butter, dump it onto my tea towel, pat it out so it dries. You want to get all the water out of it too. I have a dry bowl here that I'm going to put it in when it comes out of the towel, and that is what we will salt it in. There you go. Massive, huge piece of butter. I'm gonna grab my salt, and I'm gonna grab a fork. Well, all I do is just smush it, make kind of a well in the center, put a generous amount of salt in there. And then I just mix it in. I'd have never made this butter without salting it. I always put a little bit in just because, again, there's no preservatives in this whatsoever. And I find that just that little bit of salt really helps to preserve it as much as it can be. I got butter on my fingers. True definition of butterfingers. How about that? So it just takes just a minute, and I just kind of fold my butter over and over and over to make sure I have all the salt mixed in there. Flip it over, mix it in. All right, this is the butter mold that we use that I'm obsessed with. I love it. I will leave a link below to Amazon where you can pick up one of your own. And my favorite thing about it is that it has the lines on it, so they show up on your butter, all your tables. The best thing I found to squish butter in with is just an offset spatula. In my former life, I made wedding cakes and all kinds of stuff like that, and so I have some fancy cake decorating tools. This is one of them. It's really not fancy. You can pick this up anywhere. Your local big box store will have it. You can also get them on Amazon. I can leave a link for an offset spatula down below as well, just in case you want to purchase one. The reason that I like this so much is because it can get way down in there and it will push the butter down into all the little crooks and nannies. That's what we call them. All the crooks and nannies of the butter mold, so you don't have air pockets or gaps. And if you overfill your butter mold, you just stick it in the next one. Because goodness knows this is going to make more than one stick's worth of butter. So let's see what we wind up with here. This is typically an all-day process, just depending on how much cream I have to do, how many gallons I cream separated, and that kind of a thing. We have officially weaned Mr. Milo off of Miss Jewel. He turned a year old on Christmas Day. And Jeff and I are pretty confident Miss Thing is pregnant. Actually, we're 100% confident she's pregnant. And so we wanted to make sure that we would be able to dry Jewel off in time for her to calve and not have to worry about Milo. But then also, when she calves, for him not to be jealous of the baby or trying to hurt the baby, trying to get to Jewel's milk or whatever. It was just time to wean the boy. He will go to the processor in June or July. We're gonna give him just about 6 more months to grow. He is half Black Angus, and Jewel is a Jersey Holstein mix. So he's like a quarter Jersey, a quarter Holstein, and half Black Angus. So he's a pretty big boy, actually. But he's not quite as big as we think he could be. So we're gonna give him just about 6 more months to grow out before we take him to the processor. And then we will have farm-raised beef. And I'm excited for that. So, just about got my mold filled here. If you notice, this goes pretty darn quickly, especially with this little offset spatula. You could push it way down into that mold pretty easily. So, and then I just like to level off all the tops so that my lid fits on nice. That's too much. Okay. All right. So these bad boys are gonna go into the freezer. Here's the lid. Pop it on. And I just put them in the freezer until they're frozen. Doesn't take very long, maybe an hour. And then I pull them out and I wrap them in wax paper. And I studied beyond studied how commercial butter is wrapped. Because if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So we spent, I don't know, probably 2 hours one day learning by wrapping and unwrapping and rewrapping and unwrapping butter from the grocery store to see exactly how the folds were in the butter so that ours would look exactly like that as well. Whoop, my corner didn't stick. There you go. All right. There you go. Perfect stick of butter. So now we'll just wait till the other stuff's frozen. We'll get this in there. That's probably another 3/4 of a pound. And that butter churn's gonna make me another 1.5 pounds probably. So out of 1 3/4 gallons of cream, my guess is I will wind up with 2 1/4 to 2 3/4 pounds of butter. Pretty darn good. Thanks, Miss Jewel. All right, let's go check on the boys and see if they're making progress. How's it going, boys? Well, that's good.
Lara. Go for it. Using the screws from that room.
Cool. You having fun?
Huh?
You having fun?